Hey there, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to improve your sound selection no matter the genre you produce so that your beats will always sound full and professional. If you know what to do, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get started. So I'll be sharing with you 8 tips that you need to understand so your beats sound full and much more professional. And if you understand these 8 tips, trust me, your beats are going to sound a whole lot better, at least 10 times better. So the very first tip I'm going to share with you is making a list of songs that you like, maybe at least 10 songs in your genre. For example, I like Afrobeats. I like making Afrobeats. So if I were to learn Afrobeat from scratch, I'm going to start by making a selection of 10 songs that I listen to often or that I really like, and then this will help me train my mind subconsciously to always pick sounds that are influenced by that genre. For example, here are the 10 songs I'm currently listening to in the Afrobeat genre. So I assume you've made your list, and now let's move on to the second tip, which is finding what is really similar about these 10 songs that we just picked out. So it could be the keys, it could be the drum elements, it could be the type of bass that they use. Just basically find sounds that are common occurrence within these 10 songs. Make a list of them as much as you can hear. Start with the obvious ones. Maybe it's pianos that are much more obvious in your genre. Just start with obvious ones before you go into further details of sounds that are more in the background, all right? And from 10 songs that I listed earlier, here are the elements that I could hear as a common occurrence from the genre I'm trying to produce. So now we have our list of 10 songs, and then we have another list of elements that you can easily find within these 10 songs, and which drives us to the third tip, which is grouping them by frequency. So now, if you want to have full sounding melodies, you need to understand, or a full sounding beat, you need to understand how sound is shared within the frequency spectrum. Frequency is just simply when you hear bass, you hear treble, that's just basically what frequency is. Some sounds have areas where they're very dominant at. For example, your kick, your bass, right? These are low frequency elements or low frequency sounds. Then maybe your keys, your pianos, your some of your synths are mostly mid frequencies, right? Maybe your hi-hats and the likes can be hi-hat shaker loops, and some percussions can be the high frequency range. So you just group them accordingly again so that when you're making your beats, you make sure you cover this spectrum of frequency, all right, from low to high, so you can have a full sounding beat. So for the fourth tip, you need to understand that some elements are just played in a certain way. For example, in my list of sounds that I've already picked out, pianos, guitars, and saxophones are common elements, right, amongst the list of songs I made earlier. But still, the way the pianos are played and saxophones are played in my genre is a bit different from how it's played in other genres. So I'm going to take notes and watch a couple of tutorials, or if possible, watch a live demonstration of these elements being played so that I can understand the rhythms, how hard they hit them, the context, and just basically the vibe it gives the song. This will help me train my ears to know when I'm producing if the sound is giving that same energy or that same vibe. So now it's time for us to step into our DAW, that is our digital audio workstation. Most digital audio workstation come with stock plugins. There's plugins that are built into your software to make sounds. And you can also get third-party plugins as well. And some third-party plugins are specialized. For example, there are some software programmers that just make sounds for keys or sounds for trumpets or sounds for guitars and the likes, right? So when you identify the sounds that are obvious in your genre, you need to find the plugins that make these sounds or at least make similar sounds. For example, one of my favorite plugins for making Afrobeats is this plugin because it has a wide range of the sounds that you easily find in my genre. And now you should know that this may take a lot of time for you to find sounds, and that's really where the whole production thing kind of starts from. So you need to be patient. It can take a couple of hours, but it's worth doing the work. And the more you do it, in the future you spend less and less time, but in the beginning it's going to take you a whole lot of time to find some sounds that you feel should be easy to find. So just be patient and keep finding, keep trying. So for tip number 6, I recommend you use effects on your sounds. Sometimes it can be difficult for you to spot the exact sound that matches your genre, all right? For example, pianos have different timbres, that is different quality and tonalities, right? So if you can't find that exact piano sound, you can use maybe an EQ to make it sound darker or make it sound brighter, all right? So, or even use a reverb to give it more ambience. So these are ways you can use to shape and manipulate sound, and this can actually affect the vibe of your production. So feel free to use effects to process your sound. So for step number 7, I recommend you get help. And by help, I mean you can buy or download packs that are relevant to your genre. For example, I can just simply YouTube or Google search Afrobeat packs on Splice. I use Splice for example. There are lots of Afrobeat packs on there where I could use sounds that are specially for my genre, all right? And also I could talk to some musicians, maybe a guitarist, a saxophonist, if I need those sounds because I can't play a saxophone or a guitar as well as them. So I could always reach out to them that look, I need us to collaborate, or I could hire them. So this is a way to make your beat sound even more authentic by collaborating and asking for help and getting packs, presets that are relevant to your genre. So for the eighth tip, which is the last but not the least, is I highly recommend you learn music theory. That is, at least you don't have to be Beethoven or a music maestro, but at least, which of course if you could be that, it's surely going to be amazing. But just learn how to play chords, how to write melodies, how to structure a song. This really make your music creation process a whole lot easier. But of course, it's boring to learn at first. But when you do that, trust me, it's going to make the whole process easier for you. So invest time and effort into learning at least the basic music theory. So there's more for you to learn, but that just comes with experience, lots of trial and error. And the more time you spend making music, it's just going to come to you naturally. But if you can just invest time into perfecting these 8 tips I just shared with you, you're going to go very, very far in making really, really good beats. If you found this helpful, please help share this video. Leave me with a like and the subscribe button for more tips and tricks. I remain so classy. See you soon. Cheers.